Welcome to All About St. Paul, where we feature videos about city services, programs, entertainment, and more.
He's Nick Nelson from the city's video production team.
And she's Liz Wagner from Parks and Recreation.
Coming up on this week's show.
Spring is here, and so is spring cleaning.
Crews repair the damage winter left behind.
Be ready for severe weather.
Flowers are blooming at Como Conservatory.
And you can help our parks look their best.
We'll have those stories and more coming up on All About St. Paul.
We are here today at St. Paul Public Works. The men and women who work here have spent the winter keeping our streets safe to drive on. Now that spring is here, they're about to get even busier. Liz has more on that.
I'm here today with Joe Spa. He's in charge of street maintenance here. Joe, everybody knows winter is terrible on our roads. How does your team tackle the problem?
We typically are potholing all season long, but in the springtime we turn up that effort to include additional crews. We bring crews from our nights back onto days, and we really just start to concentrate more and more on filling potholes as they develop. If there are any problems identified on the street by our residents or people who are out and about in St. Paul, they can call 266-9700 to report that issue, and we include it on our list and tackle it as they come in.
So folks probably know what this is behind us. When can we look forward to getting all that dirt and grime off the streets?
Well, typically we start operations early to mid-April, just when conditions allow for our sweepers to get to the curb and clean all that dirt and grime up. So generally speaking, we're watching conditions and we will mobilize as soon as we can. Our arterials might go earlier than that, but generally residential streets happen in about that time frame. Residents can watch for the signs for no parking and check online for our online map that'll indicate when their street might be swept.
And then the big projects begin.
Yes, we have a very capable street design group that heads up all of our bigger projects in the construction season. You can check online for all the 2018 construction projects that are scheduled to occur.
Well, thanks, Joe. Sounds like you folks are going to be busy for a while.
You got that right.
Well, one thing we hope is not busy is our severe weather season. Nick has more on how to prepare.
Joining us now is Lucy Angeles. She's with the city's Department of Emergency Management. They're the folks in charge of preparing for and responding to disasters, emergencies, and threats, both natural and man-made. Emergency management leads and coordinates other city departments during these events and can call responders together in the city's Emergency Operations Center. Well, Lucy, everyone is looking forward to spring, but that sometimes means dangerous weather. Talk about some awareness efforts that are happening right now.
Well, this spring in April, we'll be talking about Severe Weather Awareness Week, which is from April 9th through 13th. And so Monday will be alerts and warnings. So that's basically telling people to be cognizant of outdoor warning sirens and make sure that they know to go inside and get information when they hear the outdoor warning sirens, or if their phone goes off, or if the NOAA weather radio goes off. And then we also talk about severe weather, such as lightning, thunderstorms, hail, and making sure that they understand that they need to get inside if there's a thunderstorm, because they can be hit by lightning. And then flood preparedness, making sure that the family has an evacuation plan. And then we also talk about tornadoes on Thursday. And on Thursday we also have a test for outdoor warning sirens at 1:45 and 6:45. And that's really just to talk about getting inside and getting more information. You know, because it's not always, the sirens go off not just for tornadoes but for other things as well, and so that's why we want them to tune in to get more information. And then Friday is extreme heat, even though it's snowing outside right now. We talk about extreme heat and then what that can do to people, and if they leave their pets in their cars.
What are some things that you could do with your own family to prepare for bad weather?
Well, obviously creating a plan. Everybody talks about creating a plan, and one of those plans, part of that plan is making sure that there's food and water. Everybody knows that, but what about the prescription medicines that everybody takes? Having a list of that, knowing where your insurance papers are. Sometimes when there is a bad disaster, the cell towers get overwhelmed, and so it might be hard for me to call you even though you're standing right next to me, but I can call my aunt Frida in Milwaukee, and get a hold of her and let her know that I'm okay, so that if anybody else calls her, she knows to tell them that I'm okay, and she can relay that information, and that's part of making a plan. With daycare centers and schools, everybody needs to know where they should, the alternate places to meet their children when they need to reconnect with them, and if they were perhaps out at a party or something, where are you going to be? They need to know where to find you, and that might be at the local park, or it might be at the school, or it might be at a neighbor's house. But if something were to happen to their own home, where are they going to find you if they weren't in their spot, like a daycare or a school?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. That's all good information. Where can folks go if they want to find out even more?
They can go to the city's website, stpaul.gov, and click on emergency management, and we have links to lots of other websites with relevant information regarding disasters. And if they remember nothing else, remember, when you hear the outdoor warning sirens or your cell phone starts buzzing with strange sounds, get inside and get information.
Do you know what it means when you hear an emergency siren? The siren is an alert that warns you of a possible emergency, usually weather. Sirens are sounded for all tornado warnings and for severe thunderstorms with wind speeds above 70 miles an hour. So, when the sirens go off, you should take shelter right away. They don't tell you what the actual danger is, so other alert methods such as TV, radio, wireless emergency alerts, and NOAA radio should be used. Sirens are also tested at 1 p.m. on the first Wednesday of each month. In any event, it is important to not panic, but to take shelter immediately. The more information you know, the safer you'll be.
Once again, we are here at St. Paul Public Works, and right now we are in the maintenance garage where mechanics are working hard to keep all those trucks on the road.
Those street sweepers do a pretty good job of keeping the roads clean, but they won't be driving through our parks.
When the snow melts, it seems to leave a lot of garbage behind. There's something you can do to help.
St. Paul is a beautiful city, but it takes help from all of us to keep it that way. So, join your neighbors at the annual citywide spring cleanup on Saturday, April 21st from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Volunteers like you have helped remove tons of trash from lands and waters throughout the city. Let us know you're coming by signing up at stpaul.gov/citywide cleanup. Then, on cleanup day, drop by one of these park locations to pick up bags, gloves, and refreshments. It's the annual citywide spring cleanup, Saturday, April 21st from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Lend a hand and help keep St. Paul the most livable city in America.
We have something for you now that will definitely put you in the spring mood.
The Spring Flower Show is underway now in the sunken garden of the Marjorie McNeely Conservatory out at Como Park. Our cameras were there. at Public Works, the city dispatches all of those trucks that keep our city running smoothly, and that includes smooth pavement.
Did you know that St. Paul operates its own asphalt plant? Find out how this in-house operation works for you.
St. Paul, the most livable city in America. Of all the things our city can boast about, here's one thing I bet you didn't think of. An asphalt plant. What's so great about that, you ask? Plant Supervisor Cecily Scherhammer can explain.
This plant is the only municipal plant in the state, so we are somewhat unique. Our biggest customers are all the different municipalities. They come from all over the state because we're the only plant that opens up early in the spring and stays open late in the fall. And part of that reason is because we can operate in a little bit colder weather than the other plants can.
Street maintenance crews have come to St. Paul to purchase asphalt from as far away as Duluth and as close as Minneapolis, which no longer has an asphalt plant of its own.
We make our asphalt at a much higher temperature so that it can stay in the truck quite a bit longer and it's more workable. So most of the other municipalities would like to get a jump on their potholes and get those taken care of. And that's why they appreciate that our plant's here and we can open so early.
They also like St. Paul's asphalt plant because the product is mixed with a higher grade of asphalt cement. And rather than pre-mixed asphalt stored in a silo, each batch is ordered and mixed individually according to the customer's needs. For the city of St. Paul, the centralized location means that no city street is more than a few miles from the plant. Jim Weeks from St. Paul Public Works appreciates the difference that makes.
One of the best advantages is we're able to have less trucks hauling. We can do a project whenever we want. You know, we don't have to wait down at a private facility to get in line, you know, to get material. We control the quality of it, the heat. You know, you go to a private place, it's not as warm as this stuff, and we like it warmer, so we work with it. And, you know, when you're doing potholes, it's just, when you're hand shoveling it, it's a lot easier to work with.
The city of St. Paul has operated an asphalt plant at the same location, 456 Burgess Street, since 1912. The facilities were updated in 1962, and with regular maintenance, the plant continues to be in service, generating income for the city.
We recently, I think it was 2 years ago, completed a reskinning of our asphalt cement tanks. Took off the old outside of the tank, re-insulated it, and then put an aluminum wrap around it to hold it in place and to weatherproof it. And this has helped quite a bit in our energy savings. We are also very unique in that our pollution control equipment is a wet scrubber system. So instead of having a bag house, we have a pond that settles out all the silts and clays.
And airborne emissions are so clean that they have earned the plant a Green Star Award from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. The city's asphalt plant is also efficient. The entire operation is run by just 5 employees.
Having our own plant here in the city means we're not at the mercy of the privately owned plants. We can, if we want to work on a Saturday to get potholes done, we can stay open on Saturday. If we have to stay open later, we can do that. So it works well for the city.
We'd like to thank our host today here at St. Paul Public Works. Once again, if you have any maintenance issues or see any safety concerns on St. Paul streets, please let us know. You can call the Public Works Street Maintenance Hotline 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at 651-266-9700.
Along with street maintenance, spring brings a host of fun events at your local rec centers, and it's already time to sign up for summer camps and activities. Register for summer camps and activities including skateboarding, sports, kayaking, arts and crafts, nature trips, field trips, and more. Go to stpaul.gov/summerfun to sign up.
One of the spring events that happened recently was the awesome helicopter egg drop that went down recently at Langford Park.
There are more fun spring events coming up. Go to stpaul.gov/spring events for a list of celebrations. Well, that's our show for this time.
As usual, you can find all of the city's videos online at youtube.com/stpaulgov. So, Joe, are you gonna let me drive the street sweeper?
Absolutely, we've got one right here ready to go.
See you next time.
Thank you.